morning. Welcome to the 2021 Annual Stockholders Meeting of the Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo. We would like to inform our stockholders that copies of the meeting documents, including the 2021 Definitive Information Statement, may be downloaded from our website, www.acemc-iloilo.com. All participants will be on mute to facilitate order in this meeting. Please use the chat box for any queries and comments. This meeting will be recorded. We will start in 10 minutes. morning. We would like to inform our stockholders that copies of the 2021 Definitive Information Statement may be downloaded from our website, www.acmc-iloilo.com. All participants will be on mute to facilitate order in this meeting. Please use the chat box for any queries and comments. This meeting will be recorded. We will start in 5 minutes. Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Asia Pacific Medical Center Annual Stockholders Meeting. Today, we come together to witness the future being built. We are closer than ever to bringing state-of-the-art healthcare to Ilonggos. Unfortunately, the challenges of the pandemic prevent us from having this meeting in person where we can see all of your smiling faces. However, we're excited to have you here with us virtually as we give you updates on your hospital. Before we begin, may we please request everyone to rise for the invocation and to remain standing for the Philippine National Anthem.
By the hand and help me face the rising sun. Comfort me through all the pain that life may bring. There's no other hope that I can lean upon. Lead me, Lord, lead me all my life. Walk by me across the lonely roads that I may face. Take my arms and let your hand show me the way. Show the way to live inside your heart all my days, all my life. You are my time, my Lord, I need you there. I just cannot live alone. Let me stay by your guiding love all through my life, all through my days. So lead me, oh
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, helas ng sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit ng pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang islang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na naghihindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitingin. Lumang ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkaibang aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. Now please join me in welcoming the incumbent Board of Directors. The Chairman of the Board, Dr. Ferginel Biron. the Vice Chairman, Dr. Fredelin Zamoro, the Executive Vice President, Dr. Amado Lavalle, the Assistant Secretary, Dr. Mary D. Lavilla, the Treasurer, Dr. Agnes Jean Villaflor, the Assistant Treasurer, Dr. Lucille Gomez, and the members, Mr. Lemuel Fernandez, Dr. Maria Grace Gallega Perez, Dr. Ike Minerva, Dr. Felix Nolasco, Dr. Danilo Regozo, and Attorney Rolex Suplico. The Independent Directors, Dr. Jerusha Comuel, Dr. Felibert Bianco, Dr. Ronald Ramiro, and now the founders and officers of the Asia Pacific Medical Center, Iloilo Incorporated. At this juncture, may I please request Dr. Ferginel Biron, the Chairman of the Board, to call the meeting into order.
Good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order at 9:17 a.m. of August 26, 2021. We are holding this meeting via remote communication for the second time in compliance with the regulations set by the Securities and Exchange Commission due to community quarantine regulations resulting from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Indeed, this is a new normal with the emergence of new cases involving other variants of SARS-CoV-2 virus. We would like to thank our stockholders who are joining us in this Zoom webinar and our shareholders who are participating in this meeting through our voting in absentia system or the appointment of the chairman as proxy. Joining me in this meeting are the following: Dr. Fredelin Zamoro, our vice chairman; Dr. Amado Lavalle, our executive vice president; Attorney Maylene Villanueva, our corporate secretary and compliance officer; Dr. Agnes Villaflor, our corporate treasurer; Mr. Elmer Zamoro, our chief finance officer; Dr. Mary D. Lavilla, our assistant corporate secretary; Dr. Lucille Gomez, our assistant corporate treasurer; Dr. Gerald Abonado, our hospital administrator; Ms. Tony Dinachir Fernandez, our investor relations officer; our other members of the board and representatives of the Maculangan and the Maculangan, our external auditor, who are joining the meeting via Zoom. Madam Corporate Secretary, have the stockholders of this corporation been duly notified of this meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As of August 5, on August 5 to 6, August 2021, we have sent to our stockholders of record as of August 6, 2021, the notice of stockholders meeting and the definitive information statement in 3 weeks. First, by email to all stockholders who have provided us their email addresses. Second, by posting on our corporation's website. And third, by publication in Manila Times and Manila Standard. Accordingly, Mr. Chairman, our stockholders have been notified of this meeting according to our bylaws and applicable rules, including our internal guidelines, in participation in annual stockholders meeting via remote communication and voting in absentia under the extraordinary circumstances which are embodied in our definitive information statement that the Securities and Exchange Commission approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Will you please tell us if we have a quorum at this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. For the quorum, present at this meeting, stockholders holding 180,804 shares, representing 76.9 of the 235,050 shares total outstanding shares. Hence, there is a quorum and this meeting may proceed. Mr. Chairman, we will reflect in the minutes the breakdown of stockholders present in terms of their mode of attendance and the percentage of the outstanding shares that they own, as well as the number of those joining us in this Zoom meeting.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Government regulations prevented us from conducting in-person meetings. Nevertheless, we have strived to provide our stockholders the opportunity to participate in this meeting to the extent possible as in-person meeting. Our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Maylene Villanueva, will now share the rules of conduct and procedure for this meeting. Madam Secretary, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The rules of conduct and procedure for this meeting has been set forth in the definitive information statement and explanation of agenda items which form part of the notice of the annual stockholders meeting. I would just like to highlight, Mr. Chairman, the following points to our stockholders who are joining us in this Zoom meeting. 1. Stockholders who registered online or who notify the company via email to apmciloilo.corpsec@gmail.com of their intention to participate in this meeting via remote communication may send their questions and comments to the same email address. 2. Ms. Tony Dinah Chier Hernandez, the company's Investor Relations Officer and Data Protection Officer, will read the comments or questions received before 9 a.m. during the Q&A period, which will take place after the presentation of the annual report under item 6 in the agenda. Management will reply to questions not taken up during the meeting by email. 3. As indicated in the ballot for the voting of shareholders in absentia, there are 6 resolutions proposed for adoption by the stockholders in this meeting. These proposed resolutions shall be flashed in the screen as the same is being taken out. 4. Stockholders shall cast their votes for the proposed resolutions and election of directors for 2021 from August 21, 2021 to August 25, 2021, and the only voting portal can still join the meeting, and the poll shall remain open until the end of the meeting for stockholders who had successfully registered to cast their votes electronically in the online voting portal. 5. The initial votes have been tabulated after the end of the proxy validation process and the night before the voting and abstention system. These votes are from stockholders owning 180,874 voting shares who are all present at this meeting, and 76.9% of the total outstanding shares of 235,050 shares. I will be referring to the results of this preliminary tabulation when I report the voting results throughout this meeting. The results of the final tabulation of votes with full details of affirmative and negative votes as well as abstentions will be reflected in the minutes of the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next order of business is the approval of the minutes of the regular stockholders meeting held on the 29th of October, 2020, an electronic copy of which is available on the website of the corporation. I will now request the Secretary to present the proposed resolutions and the preliminary votes on the item. Madam Secretary, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, the Board and Management is proposing the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-01, approving the minutes of the regular stockholders meeting held on October 29, 2020. As stated in the notice, the minutes of the previous meeting was sent to the stockholders together with the information statement and was also published in the company website. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that of the 180,874 shares representing 76.9% of the total outstanding shares, 180,704 shares, or 99.9% voted to approve the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, ASM Resolution number 2021-01 has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the updates on construction. Dr. Igoso has the floor.
Good morning, founders, stockholders, and guests. It's an honor to present to you the updates of the ongoing construction of Asia Pacific Medical Center, Iloilo Incorporated. Before the report proper, it is noteworthy to mention our two essential objectives of the project. First, to cater to the need for a world-class medical center in Iloilo, Panay, and Western Visayas region. It will be the only GCI-accredited medical center outside of the National Capital Region which can cater to foreign patients and returning Filipino retirees, enabling them to utilize their international health insurances. Thus, Iloilo City and the Iloilo province can easily be converted into a retirement haven for some expatriates, foreign nationals, and Filipino retirees abroad. After overcoming this COVID pandemic, Iloilo will be the chosen destination for the medical tourism in the Visayas region. Secondly, we aim to have our medical center COVID pandemic ready. Substantial resources and effort were spent to make our hospital COVID responsive, which contributed to the delay in the completion of our construction as modifications were made in the emergency room, intensive care unit, operating room, delivery room, and patient's room located in the 6th floor, now dedicated as COVID floor. As you all recall, the Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo has 9 floors excluding the basement floor and a mezzanine floor below the helipad. In the ground floor are the following: reception and lobby, emergency room, clinical laboratory and pathology, imaging complex, cashier and finance offices, drive-through community pharmacy, and convenience store. While the second floor includes the following: ICU complex, operating room and delivery room complex, and the administrative offices. In the third floor are the following: doctor's clinics, eye center, dental center, and cardio-neuro-diagnostic center. The fourth floor includes the following: the doctor's clinics, oncology center, hospital OPD, pharmacy, rehabilitation center, regenerative medicine, and stem cell center. The fifth floor includes the SEP laboratory and patient's room. Sixth floor is dedicated to COVID patients. Seventh floors are patients' private rooms and suites. Eighth floor are private rooms, suites, and all 7 presidential suites. On the 9th floor are the following: executive offices, boardroom, auditorium, dietary complex, and cafeteria. As to our parking areas, we can accommodate 6 spaces for minibuses, 85 for cars, 4 dedicated for PWDs, and 5 spaces for ambulances. Contributory to the extended construction work was the modification and revisions made to to conform to the requirements of the Joint Commission International, which would accommodate foreign nationals and patients using their international health insurances. Additional spaces were constructed on the 9th floor, mezzanine, 10th floor, and the extension wing in the 2nd floor, which expanded the floor area. The following are the features that set us apart from other hospitals. Negative pressure ventilation system were provided to the following: the emergency rooms, infectious units, pathology department complex, dedicated COVID operating room and delivery room, infectious ICU complex, dedicated COVID patients room in the 6th floor, isolation rooms in the 5th to 8th floors. While the positive pressure ventilation system were also provided to the following areas: operating room complex, delivery room complex, neonatal ICU, pediatric ICU, medical ICU, and stroke ICU, and the surgical ICU. Pneumatic systems were also installed and incorporated in all the floors, while the laminar systems were installed in the operating room and delivery room complexes. LASIK eye surgery equipment will be provided in the ophthalmology operating room unit, and our powerhouse generator system will provide an uninterrupted supply of electricity. Our building management system will provide an efficient management of hospital equipment and power consumption and improved security system. And our hospital information system will provide an efficient paperless management and integration of hospital data covering medical, laboratory, and administrative processes. With the features mentioned, the following changes and revisions were installed. The building extensions are the following: the helipad, to anticipate the ease of transporting our clients. Our 10th floor mezzanine floors to accommodate the records room and other offices. Our 9th floor to accommodate the VIP offices, dietary complex, auditorium, dining room. And our basement floor to increase parking slots, warehouse, engineering offices, and the other offices. Our ground floor to increase laboratory area and the emergency room, and our 2nd floor to increase our areas for the ICUs and the administrative offices. And in our 3rd floor, we extended our floor slab and firewall for the aircon chiller units. While the revisions in order to comply the DOH requirements due to pandemic are the following: in the 3rd floor, we made revisions to have a separate operating room and delivery room for COVID positive patients. And in the 6th floor, we made revisions to have an infectious COVID rooms. In the ER, OR, ICUs, and isolation rooms, we made provisions of positive and negative pressure ventilations. And the other revisions are the expansion of the dietary complex and the revisions of other offices. With this note, the following is our current percentage of installations. As to the structural works, 100%. As to the architectural work, the exterior side, 98.75%. Architectural work, interiors, 98.90%. Electrical works, 97.89%. Auxiliary, 93.30%. Mechanical, 94.20%. Plumbing, 94.50%. Site development, 62.50%. And the overall percentage of accomplishment is 96.81%. On hindsight, this COVID pandemic enabled our hospital to provide facilities to cater to those COVID patients who will be admitted in our medical center. Had we opened earlier, we would not have set up the most ideal facility to ensure safety for all our patients. To all dear stockholders, we all believe that in the midst of this COVID tragedy, God remains to be in absolute control. Our project is a noble one and will certainly help overcome the acute and growing need for hospital beds in the city and province of Iloilo. We thank all the stockholders for all your investment as we all endeavor to deliver the finest health care that you all deserve. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Dr. Rigoso. At this point, may I ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution and the preliminary voting results. Attorney Villanueva, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-02, noting the report on updates on construction. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that of the 180,874 shares, representing 76.9% of the total outstanding shares, 180,874 shares, or 98.86% voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, ASM Resolution number 2021-02 has been approved, and the construction report as of the date of the meeting has been noted by the stockholders.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next item on the
You are
agenda.
about to begin a virtual tour of the Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo. Through the link provided in the chat, you will continue to have up to 30 days to access this feature after this meeting.
Welcome to Asia Pacific Medical Center, the hospital pursuing the highest patient safety standards in medical care and services with modern and state-of-the-art facilities and equipment. APMC aids the community in meeting the present and the future's healthcare needs. This is APMC.
The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the annual report, which shall consist of the chairman's message, the audio-visual presentation of the hospital, and the presentation of the 2020 audited financial statements by the corporate treasurer.
To our dear stockholders, a pleasant morning to each and every one of you from wherever you are joining this meeting. Our current world is characterized by these interactions now, virtual experiences that connect us to each other despite the limitations brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. This past week alone, the Philippines has had its highest number of cases detected in a single day, as new variants are being discovered and are infecting our populace. That is why we're working day and night to bring state-of-the-art healthcare to Iloilo and the islands of Panay and Guimaras with the Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated. With the chaotic atmosphere brought about by the pandemic and the sheer demand for better healthcare, we have strategically placed ourselves in the best position to answer these calls and contribute to the health and safety of our Kasimanwas. While it is unfortunate that we are unable to open the hospital this year, we remain optimistic in the meticulous preparations that we are making in its construction. You have seen the progress from the construction report by Dr. Rigoso, and you already have access to our virtual tour where you can find that your hospital is already at 96.81% completion. Given the continuing constraints brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, we endeavor to finish the construction before the end of 2021. In that light, let's discuss the three factors that will ensure the optimism of every stockholder as we approach 2022. Our current staff will increase 18-fold in the coming months to facilitate the start of our operations. This is to augment our roster of medical personnel that are already leaders in their respective fields. The staff to be hired are to be judged based on similar criteria and then trained in a culture of inclusive and individual patient care. Our state-of-the-art equipment have already been arriving on site and installations are ongoing. Our service will be characterized by efficiency and effectiveness. Not only will we have the most highly qualified personnel, they will also be operating bleeding-edge technology. Beyond simply practicing the highest standards of patient care, Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated will continue to push the envelope by innovating the medical process through focused research activities with the dedicated facilities not just to participate in the process of medical advancement, but lead it. Beyond the foundations in medicine, Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated will make sure to safeguard the investments of its stockholders through the practice of strong financial discipline that will allow us not only to survive the pandemic, but flourish in it. Through best practices for marketing that will establish our brand as a top-of-mind hospital, and through strategic investments in human capital to ensure best-in-class patient-doctor relationships. With this in mind, we are positioned to be responsive to the changing needs of our customers and stockholders, making sure that we listen to the communities that we seek to serve. In that light, I'd like to thank the efforts of the 2020 Board of Directors who have been cooperative and loyal in the conduct of their office. Thank you for giving us faithful, dedicated, and selfless service. We're a diverse set of individuals, but through our unity, we have shown strength and have won the confidence of our investors. I look forward to continue working with you towards our shared goal. I'd also like to thank the efforts of our Investor Relations Office and our Corporate Secretary for spearheading this annual stockholders meeting and taking care of our individual stockholders. Finally, I'd like to personally take the time to thank all of you for joining us in this endeavor to build a legacy medical center. Together with our many loyal founders, I have personally sacrificed and gambled for the establishment of this hospital, our legacy hospital. And it is only with our continued collective belief that we are now so close to becoming operational. In the decades to come, I want you to remember these early days when our brothers and sisters were only dreaming of world-class healthcare, because soon that will become a reality. Thank you and good day.
Caring is craftsmanship, and to master the craft of caring, that requires commitment, precision, and passion. We put all these in mind when building a medical center that provides systematic, sympathetic, and holistic healthcare. We first founded the Allied Care Experts Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated, a secondary hospital. Now, we're moving upward and onward as the Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated, with its facilities equivalent to a tertiary hospital and inevitably one of the finest in Southeast Asia. We commit to your well-being and comfort. Across an expansive area are built 9 stories of a meticulously designed ecosystem
that moves in unison to provide individual healthcare to thousands at a time. Housed inside are 245 beds, 10 ultra-modern operating theaters, 25 ICU beds, 35 suites, and 7 presidential suites to create a healing atmosphere that's not only prepared for, but responsive to every situation. To go along with our stellar roster of medical personnel, we've procured state-of-the-art equipment, the best room facilities with nurse calling, and a pneumatic delivery system for the pharmacy and clinical laboratory. With technical expertise, moral character, and scientific distinction, our brand will be synonymous with precision care and specialized attention. And we are renewed daily, with an enduring passion to heal, not just with our hands, but also with our hearts and spirits. We've gathered the most dedicated and talented doctors in the fields of cardiology, OB-gynecology, pediatrics, surgery, psychiatry, and many more. We are an institution that cares about caring for you. Everything within these walls is dedicated to your welfare and to your health.
We're building the Asia Pacific Medical Center with the finest doctors equipped with the best training and world-class facilities to deliver one of the premier healthcare experiences in Asia.
Asia Pacific Medical Center-Iloilo will carry the brand of international excellence along with Apmc Aklan and Apmc Bacolod as the only free hospitals outside of NCR to be JCI accredited. We will meet international standards for patient safety, clinical care, and modern diagnostic and therapeutic modalities. Everything a testament to our craft and the beginning of even greater things to come. Because craftsmanship is caring.
We built this, and this is for you.
The Asia Pacific Medical Center. Professional medicine, personal care.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Agnes Jean Villaflor, Corporate Treasurer of Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated, formerly known as Allied Care Experts, ACE Medical Center Iloilo Incorporated. This is our 2020 audited financial report. Di makulangan and di makulangan ng company CPAs. The independent auditor appointed by our stockholders have audited the financial statements for December 31, 2020, 2019, and 2018 in accordance with the Philippine Standards on Auditing. Upon completion of the audit, the auditors expressed their opinion on the fairness of presentation of our financial statement. The total assets of our corporation for the year ended December 31, 2020 amounted to 1,767,456,180 versus the total asset amount in December 31, 2019 of 1,488,628,779. The current assets include cash, receivables, prepayments, and advances to related party, contractors, and suppliers, which in December 31, 2020 amounted to 134,067,909 versus the 2019 amount of 339,242,077. The non-current assets, primarily the property and equipment and construction in progress, totaled to 1,633,388,271 and 1,149,386,702 for the years ending December 2020 and 2019, respectively. The total liabilities amounted to 1,03,395,866 for the year ending December 2020, compared to 1,160,851,235 for the year ended December 2019. The equity, on the other hand, totaled to 764,060,314 for the year ended December 31, 2020 versus 327,777,544 in 2019. So our total liabilities and equity for the year ended December 31, 2020 and December 2019 reconciled with the total asset amount as reflected in the schedule. Since the hospital is not yet in operation, the income that we get come from the interests of our bank accounts, and these are 107,317 in 2020, 97,953 in 2019, and 137,975 in 2018. The general and administrative expenses, which are due mainly to salaries, allowances, security services, government contributions, and utilities, scaled to 29,646,352 in December 31, 2020, 25,904,499 in December 2019, and 18,944,150 for the year ended December 2018. With the loss from operations, add the finance cost which come from the interest of our loans, we have a total comprehensive loss for the year December 31, 2020 of 43,369,210, 37,263,036 for the year ended December 31, 2019, and 18,806,175 for the year ended December 31, 2018. From an initial share capital of 120 million, an additional share capital of 21 million was put in when the corporation increased its capitalization. In 2018, the company filed a registration statement covering its proposed initial public offering of 36,000 shares. The registration was approved by SEC, and during the year pursuant to the approval, the company issued common shares. So as at December 2020, the share capital is now at 221,234,000. And after deduction of the transaction costs related to the issuance of shares, the related share premium amounted to 653,467,905 980 as at December 2020, giving us a total equity of 764,060,314. Cash flows from operating activities, from financing activities, and from investing activities will be separately reflected in the following schedules. The net cash provided by and used in operating activities amounted to 210,200,578 for the year 2020, 42,483,331 in 2019, and 167,268,815 in 2018. The net cash used in investing activities amounted to 484,424,289 for the year ended December 31, 2020, and in 2019 for 28,609,868, and 2018 334,973,65. The net cash provided by financing activities of the corporation for the year ended December 31, 2020 amounted to 306,874,542 versus 438,573,746 in 2019 and 358,993,908 in 2018. Comparing the cash beginning of the year and cash at the end of the year, the net increase and decrease in cash. In 2018, we have a decrease in cash of 143,246,972. In 2019, a decrease in cash of 32,519,453. In 2020, December, we have a net increase in cash of 32,650,831, leaving us a cash at the end of the year for the year ended December 31, 2020 of 48,022,046. This ends our financial report for 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Agnes Villaflor. At this point, may I ask the Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution and the preliminary voting results. Attorney Villanueva, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Management is proposing the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-03, noting the corporation's annual report, which consists of the chairman's message, audio-visual presentation, management report, and approval of its audited financial statement as of December 31, 2020, as audited by external auditor Di Maculangan and Di Maculangan CPAs. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that of the 180,874 shares, representing 76.9% of the total outstanding shares, 178,784 or 98.84% has voted to approve the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, ASM Resolution number 2021-03 has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. At this point, we can now address questions and comments from our stockholders. Ms. Tony Dinachir Fernandez will read aloud the questions and comments together with the names of the stockholders who sent them. As mentioned by Attorney Villanueva, questions and emails that are not taken up shall be addressed via email.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Office of the Corporate Secretary, as well as the Investor Relations Office, have received several questions from our stockholders. However, as we are pressed for time, we selected only 3 from this pool due to its relevance. The first question is from Ms. Lea Salvador. When do you think you can finish the construction of the hospital given the present COVID conditions? I think this is the question on everybody's mind. So may I direct this to our chairman, sir?
Thank you, Mrs. Fernandez. As you have seen in the report of Dr. Rigoso, the bulk of the remaining work is on the site development. Our general contractor, Dakay Construction, has committed to terminate the construction before the end of 2021.
Thank
You may
you, sir.
Second question.
Okay, thank you. The second question comes from Mr. Lori Wong. What are the facilities that you have included to make the hospital COVID ready and responsive? Again, may I ask Mr. Chairman to please answer this question, sir?
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez. As you have also seen in the presentation of Dr. Rigoso, we have made detailed preparations in the emergency room, in the infectious ICU. We have dedicated COVID operating and delivery rooms and COVID dedicated rooms on the 6th floor. Thank you, Ms. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And finally, we have the third question coming from Ms. Jonna May Antiquera. What are the flagship centers of Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo? Again, I think the person to answer this is our company president, Dr. Herge Biron.
Yes, I believe we have quite a number, but let me just inform our stockholders that the flagship centers of Apmc Iloilo would include, among others, eye or ophthalmology center, including LASIK surgery, regenerative medicine and stem cell center, oncologic or cancer center. In the foreseeable future, a cath lab unit will be established, and the provision of which had been undertaken in the ongoing construction. Thank you, Ms. Fernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is indeed great news to our stockholders. We would like to remind our stockholders that the rest of the questions which have not been addressed today will be responded to by our corporate secretary in the email accounts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fernandez, for those questions. Now we move on to the next item in our agenda, the ratification of all acts of the Board of Directors and corporate officers since our annual stockholders meeting last 29th of October 2020 to date. Attorney Villanueva will explain this matter and report the partial results thereon. Attorney Villanueva, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board and management seek the ratification of all the acts and resolutions of the board which were adopted from October 29, 2020 until today. These acts were embedded in the minutes of the meetings, and they include resolutions and treasury matters related to opening of accounts and transactions with banks, appointment of signatories and amendments there, schedule of the annual stockholders meeting, election of officers, appointment of chairman and members of the board committees, and matters covered by the disclosure to the Securities and Exchange Commission and also enumerated in the information statement. The resolution is on the screen, Mr. Chairman. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that of the 180,874 shares, representing 76.9% of the total outstanding shares, 178,754 shares, or 98.82% voted in favor of the resolution. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, ASM Resolution number 2021-04 has been approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next order of business is the election of the 15 directors for the ensuing year. I would like to request Dr. Philibert Janco, Chairman of the Nominations and Election Committee, to explain this item. Dr. Janco, you're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, in accordance with our bylaws, Manual on Corporate Governance, the pertinent rules and regulations of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the following stockholders were nominated to the Board of Directors for the ensuing term. Nominees for regular directors, Dr. Virginel Gibron, Dr. Jenny Serna Lopez, Dr. Philibert Dianco, Mr. Lemuel Fernandez, Dr. Lucille Gomez, Dr. Meridila Villa, Dr. Amado Lavalle, Dr. Ike Minerva, Dr. Felix Nolasco, Engineer Generoso Oriliaza, Dr. Danilo Rigozo, Dr. Fredelin Zamoro, Attorney Rolex Suplico, and Dr. Agnes M. Villaflor. The nominees for Independent Board of Directors were Dr. Jerusha Comelo, Maria Teresa Dibuque, and Dr. Ronald Ramiro. Drs. Comelo, Ramiro, and Ms. Dibuque have been nominated as independent directors. The Nominations and Elections Committee of the board has ascertained that the 70 nominees, including the 3 nominees for independent directors, are qualified to serve as directors of the corporation. All nominees have given their consent to their respective nominations. However, 3 of the candidates with 2 nominees for regular director, Dr. Jenny Cernel Lopez and Engineer Generoso Oriliaza, and 1 nominee for independent director, Dr. Ronald Ramiro, had withdrawn from their candidacy due to disqualification because they had sold all their shares to the chairman. Henceforth, as of the start of election last 21 of August 2021, there were only 14 candidates eligible for election. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Janko. May I request our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Villanueva, to present to us the results of the election.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to announce the partial and official results based on rank. So for directors, Virginal Beron garnered 455,221 votes. Amado Lavalle Jr., 394,696 votes. Fredelin G. Zamoro, 38,656 votes. Rolex T. Suplico, 222,308 votes. Limuel P. Fernandez, 219,426 votes. Danilo C. Rigoso, 217,837 votes. Agnes Jean M. Villaflor, 208,632 votes. Lucille M. Gomez, 129,866 votes. Mary D. Lavilla, 108,796 votes. Philibert Bianco, 105,579 votes. Ike Minerva, 98,366 votes. Felix Nolasco, 5,606 votes. For independent directors, Maria Teresa F. Dibuque garnered 167,842 votes, and Jerusha Comelo garnered 36,401 votes. Given this, Mr. Chairman, I certify that each of the nominees has received enough votes for election to the Board of Directors.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. May I ask our Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution and the preliminary voting results.
Mr. Chairman, management is proposing the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-05, approving the results of the 2021 election of the Board of Directors. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that of the 180,874 shares, or 76.9% of the total outstanding capital stock, 150,574 or 83.24% voted to approve the results of the elections canvassed by the Board of Canvassers. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, ASM Resolution number 2021-05 has been approved. Congratulations to all our candidates.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Before we proceed, let us take this opportunity to thank our outgoing Director, Dr. Maria Grace Gallega Perez, for your service to the board since your election last October 29th of 2020. I would like to welcome Maria Teresa F. Dibuque for your willingness to serve as Independent Director of Apmc Iloilo. At this point, the next item in our agenda is the election of our external auditor. May I request the Chairman of the Committee on Audit, Dr. Jerusha Comelo, to enlighten the stockholders on this item. Dr. Comelo, you are recognized.
The Audit Committee had evaluated the performance last year of the corporation's auditor the firm of Di Maculangan and found it satisfactory. Based on the recommendation of the Audit Committee, the Board of Directors agreed to endorse again the election of Di Maculangan as the corporation's external auditor for the fiscal year for an audit fee of 224,400 pesos, exclusive of out-of-pocket expenses and per diems.
Thank you, Dr. Comuelo. I would like to request our Corporate Secretary to present the proposed resolution on this item and the partial voting results. You recognize Attorney Villanueva.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Management is proposing the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-06 for the election of the corporation's external auditor and fixing of its remuneration. The resolution is on the screen, Mr. Chairman. Of the voting results, I am pleased to report that stockholders owning 180,664 shares, or 99.87%, have voted for the adoption of ASM Resolution number 2021-06. Therefore, the resolution is now approved.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Attorney Villanueva, are there other matters that require consideration of the stockholders?
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
There being no more matters left to be discussed in this annual stockholders meeting, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
With that, we now end the 2021 Asia Pacific Medical Center Iloilo Annual Stockholders Meeting. We thank the members of the board and our dear stockholders for joining us today. It is through your hard work and contributions that better lives and better healthcare can be achieved. We will continue to dream, to innovate, and to build the future together. Remember to take care and stay safe.